and Assalamualaikum. So today I will present about integrated public transport system, the way forward for seamless journey. Prepared by me, Hudadini Binti Jamil for Dr. Zamri bin Miskam. So let's start with definition. What is integrated public transport? It is the integration of different modes of transport in order to increase the efficiency of these modes by complementing one another with the aim of increasing the economy and social benefits. The functions are to maximize ease and efficiency for users in terms of time, cost, comfort, safety, accessibility, and convenience. It's a better way of moving people, goods, and services without relying on a single mode of transportation. A successful integrated transportation system will result in higher demand for public transportation with a knock-on reduction in congestion and pollution. The examples of integration between modes of transport include street trams located in large pedestrian zones outside railway station entrance for ease of interchange, stations that combine bus, train, subway or tube services, park and ride facilities, same-level interchange between different systems, and route planners that include different modes of transport. There are 4 types of integrated public transport that we choose. Number 1 is bus, which is rapid KL bus and hop-on hop-off city tour bus. Number 2 is train, including commuter, LRT, MRT, ETS, monorails, express rail link, ERL, tram, and many others that are related with any subway or tube services. Number 3 is airplane, which is AirAsia, and lastly car, which is Grab. There are 4 objectives of sustainable transportation system. Number 1 is reduce travel demand, especially motorized mode, by reducing the need to travel, number of trips, and length of travel. Number 2 is greater use of sustainable modes such as public transport, walking, and cycling for people on the move and high-capacity freight. Number 3 is efficient and effective use of existing transportation systems and provision of infrastructure and services. And lastly, increasing energy efficiency and reducing vehicle emissions. Next, the advantages of integrated transportation system. Number 1 is efficient transportation method. Public transportation is its fairly efficient method of transportation, which means that a large number of people can be carried around in each vehicle. Number 2 is less greenhouse gas emissions. Public transportation is also more environmentally friendly than cars when it comes to greenhouse gas emissions. Since global warming will be a serious problem in the near future, so we should strive to conserve greenhouse gases as often as possible so that we can reduce greenhouse gas emissions and slow down global warming to a certain extent. Number 3 is cost efficiency. If you consider not only the cost for fuel but also the cost for repairs, maintenance, and so on, public transportation will be much cheaper for each individual compared to owning a private car. Overall, you can save plenty of money over time by using public transportation. And lastly, you may be able to work while using public transportation. By using public transportation, you can work while on the way to work or to university. Therefore, it allows you to use your time in a more efficient way compared to sitting in your car and having to pay attention to the traffic. Even though we have seen in the previous slide that public transport can have many important benefits, however, there are also some problems related to mass transportation. Number 1 is long waiting times. In some areas, you might also have to wait for quite long until the next bus or train to arrive. Especially in rural areas, the frequency of public transport vehicles is often quite low, and sometimes there are only a few buses a day. Number 2 is delays can cause problems at work. By using public transportation, you might also be often late for work. This can cause serious problems and you might be fired at some point. Therefore, you might prefer to use your car to commute to avoid unpleasant consequences associated with showing up at work. Number 3 is pretty crowded at rush hour. In many large cities, the public transportation system is quite crowded, especially during rush hour. Therefore, it may be very uncomfortable to be stuck with a large number of people on a crowded train every morning. Therefore, this can cause a plenty of stress on our body and our brain systems and can also lead to serious health conditions in the long run. Number 4 is may not be safe in some areas. In cities that are known for high crime rates, it may also not be safe to use public transportation as you may be robbed sooner or later. This happens mainly at night. So, if you want to get around at night, you may want to use your car or taxi to increase your level of safety, especially if you live in an area that is considered unsafe. Next, the components or characteristics of integrated public transport. Number 1, interchanging is perceived to take longer than it actually does. The key is for services to connect with little lag time. The move to turn up and go transit services on high-volume routes can reduce reliance on timetables and improves convenience. Number 2, from a physical perspective, thinking of a journey that connects from one part of the journey to the next means planning the shortest, easiest, most comfortable and safe connections. It will greatly improve user satisfaction, increase public transport protection, and transport sustainability. Number 3, providing connecting information is essential for a successful multi-mode journey, since we want to have an accurate and timely information before we choose a connected trip and during the trip as where to go next. Number 4, a simple and connected payment system regardless of whether driving, parking or using public transport, and no additional charges for connecting from one mode to another. And lastly, it led by an agency responsible for policy, planning, pricing and operations across modes to enable seamless connected journeys. So how can transport integration be achieved successfully? Number 1 is integrated planning. Coordinated planning ensures easy interchange in terms of both proximity and time, resulting in trips with minimum disruption. For example, it provides real-time service information such as train delays or flight cancellations. Number 2 is integrated infrastructure. This involves the seamless connection of various transport modes. For example, the connection of park and ride facilities and stations. Number 3 is integrated operations. This involves the coordination of infrastructure and planning to ensure seamless connections. For example, between bus to train, bus to ferry, and so on. Rather than acting purely in competition with each other, the modes need to complement each other. So thank you, that's all from me.
Assalamualaikum, my name is Sarah binti Abdul Rahim. So today I will present about the importance of intramode combination. First importance of intramode combination is road based on buses or BRT. Road transport is a type of transport by using roads. There are three importance of road transport by passenger. Firstly, it is cost efficiency, as it is significantly cheaper to transport passenger via cars like Grab and taxi and buses like BRT. This is because road transportation is cheaper and has a more flexible system. Secondly, it is personalized service. Road transport can provide door-to-door service offering passenger a delivery experience all the way to their destination. This will benefit the passenger as passenger can continue to reach the destination if boarding the Grab and do not need to take other transport to get to the destination. Lastly, it is fast delivery, as road transport has a good level of speed in carrying car or buses which allow passengers to save time and not wasting time in public transport provided by the government. Second importance of intramode combination is rail based on LRT, MRT and tram. The first importance of railway transportation is the use of train, which is more environmentally friendly. Secondly, rail options provide passengers with an access to capacity. This can accommodate many passengers in this transport due to its large capacity. And lastly, railway transport is reliable. The train has a standard transit schedule and does not share its railway with the public, for example, buses, Grab and taxis. Next is sea. The important is smooth sailing because there are no traffic lights on the sea. Environmental friendly because traveling by sea tends to have lower carbon footprint compared to other modes of transportation. This makes sea transport very economical and eco-friendly compared to other ways to travel to see the beauty of the sea. and then not have cost effective because has no way to maintain and has no way to improve. And last is it also has no intersection to slow down the journey. Okay, last is air. Importance of air transportation. First is high speed and can save time is used this transport. Therefore, it is very highly recommended to use air transport such as Air Asia. Second, emergency service, it is can operate what matter happen. And last is comfortable and quick service. This is because large airline need to be efficient in aircraft system because it involves the life of the people if the system has a problem. Okay, now we move to current issue. First current issue is connectivity. Government OEM and technology provider are now focusing on integrated mobility solution. With this system, the first mile and last mile problem will be taken care of by a station-based mobility solution. And intracity and intercity transport will be managed by buses and high-speed trains and metros. And then the public transit system will include CCTV camera, GPS devices, digital display, automated stop announcement and Wi-Fi devices. And last is have applications such as traveler information system, electronic payment system, smart ticketing system and automated passenger counter system. Okay, for the CBD areas. Station Central Kuala Lumpur is the CBD areas. KL Central situated approximately 1.5 km from the southwest edge of the Central Business District of Kuala Lumpur. KL Central accommodates more than 180,000 people on a daily basis. And then for the public amenities, public transport operators are forced to place emphasis on the monitoring and improvement of the services provided, and to evaluate the parameters in passenger preference and satisfaction on public transportation. For example, facilities, comfortness and quality of services. And last is focuses on traveler satisfaction and preference toward public transport. Last current issue is residential. Cities are locations that having a high level of accumulation and concentration of economic activities. They are complex spatial structures supported by infrastructure including transport system. And then people are spending an increasing amount of time commuting between their residence and workplace. And last is time spent during commuting is at the expense of other economic and social activities.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Aisyah binti Ramli. For my part, I will present about incorporate the state of the art technology. The first one is signal boost. When it comes to making subway system more efficient, signaling is always at the top of the priority list. In contrast to traffic signal on the ground, the subway signaling not only tells driver when to stop and when to continue, but also actively reacts to train traffic. This enables more intelligent signaling technology such as traffic control. Communication-based train or ultra-wide bandwidth system enable better communication between trains, track and control center, allowing trains to travel faster and closer without increasing the risk of accident. Next one is real-time vehicle tracking. One of the most common complaints about public transportation is the inability to obtain real-time information about where the vehicle when it will arrive at a specific stop. Luckily, the using of the internet and technology makes it possible for passengers to easily track the location of their vehicle. Passengers will now know accurately when the vehicle will arrive at a specific stop. The third one is personalized travel information. Passengers on public transportation will feel more cared for if they receive personalized information. Transit agency will be able to easily send personalized travel information to passengers thanks to accessibility internet and technology. Transit agency, for example, can track a specific person's travel habit and determine which station or route that person often use. The fourth one is real-time operation. Real-time control strategy have benefited significantly from the existence of automatic vehicle location and access point controller. Multiple directions can be identified to improve real-time control algorithm. The combination of optimal control models and prediction method is seen as a promising part, as existing study often use model-based prediction for arrival times and therefore do not perform purely data-driven analysis. Passenger demand data can significantly improve the performance of control models in crowded situations and in the context of transfer synchronization. The last one is Silicon Valley. In addition to more precise signage, public train and bus connection could be improved through autonomous vehicle technology. Driverless buses are also likely to outperform driverless cars on the city street, while adding traffic makes it more difficult to perfect autonomous buses than rail. The fact that they stick to a familiar route makes it easier to program as fully autonomous cars. Already being tested everywhere from Orlando and Berlin to Singapore and China. And once the technology is perfected, cities and other communities could easily create or improve public transport network with better bus connection. The last one is I will talk about case studies. The first one is Grab. Um, GrabPay. Currently, the service is available in 6 Southeast Asian countries: Singapore, Malaysia, Vietnam, Thailand, Indonesia, and Philippines. This app is used to pay for services such as ride-hailing, food delivery, in-store purchases, and funds transfer. You can also use the app to make purchase on e-commerce platform. The next one is GrabFood. We all know this app where we can order food that are available in the app, and it also has a delivery service. Next one is Grab Express. Grab Express is a grocery delivery service provider. A user can select the grocery they require from a variety of products available on Grab Express to be delivered to us. The second one is Rapid KL. The need for a revamp of Kuala Lumpur public transportation system become clear after the city like Rapid Transit LRT lines began commercial operation, and it was discovered that ridership was much lower than expected. So, Prasarana has taken steps to improve services since taking over the LRT, monorail and bus network. First one is price reduction. The majority of LRT and monorail users are students and elderly. Students prefer the cheapest option, and with a fare increase in 2015 that more than double the original price, it's no surprise that students choose other modes of transportation than Rapid KL. Increased rail capacity. Prasarana gave tender for the acquisition of new LRT and monorail moving stock to increment conveying limit, including 35 new train sets for Kelana Jaya line in October 2006 and October 2007. The trains were acquired to be operational by September 2009. On 27 July 2009, Malaysian Prime Minister Najib Razak declared that the 35 new 4-vehicle trains would be operational by end 2012. And the last one is monthly buses. Monthly buses are buses that can be used on both the rail and bus network. Interestingly, workers will offer month-to-month passes which could be utilized on both rail and transport organizations. The third one is hop-on, hop-off. To evaluate the current route of the KL hop-on hop-off bus services, the route was evaluated using a GIS application. 3 new routes are proposed as alternative to the existing single route hop-on hop-off bus service. With the new routes, the duration of a single complete route can be shortened due to tourist interest. A good public transport system targets a large number of single trips and provides a convenient connection between all points where there is a need. Route design is concerned with determining the origin, destination, stopping, and route of each bus route on the network. The fourth one is AirAsia. AirAsia ticket prices are nearly half that of its competitor, domestic flights are also more convenient because they take less time and money. AirAsia employees are highly qualitative with excellent communication skills, a wide range of experience, and in-depth knowledge of their respective fields. AirAsia increased seating capacity while reducing services by not providing customers with food and beverage, earphone, movie, and other amenities. The last one is Express Rail Link. The Express Rail Link (ERL) is a central element in the Malaysia government strategy to strengthen the role of the capital international airport. Its completion coincides with the improvement work at Central Station, which integrates the ERL service with those of the Commuter Rail Service (CRS). Main and commuter routes operated by the KTMB National Railway, the automated light rail system Putra, and the monorail system KL. That's it from me. Thank you.
For conclusion, there are some recommendations to improve. First is government has set in motion the biggest change in the planning system for decades. And then accessibility of community of transportation will give impact to the social life and economy. And last recommendation is proper planning for a sustainable transportation would bring the balance in social needs, environmental and drivers' economic growth. And that's all from me. Thank you.